A tenor drum is a membranophone without a snare. There are several types of tenor drums. Early music tenor drum. A long drum is a cylindrical membranophone without snare used in medieval, Renaissance and Baroque music. It consists in a cylinder of wood covered with skin hits on both ends that are tensioned by ropes, played with two sticks. This type of drum varies in pitch according to its size. Orchestral music. In a symphony orchestra's percussion section, a tenor drum is a low-pitched drum, similar in size to a field snare, but without snares and played with soft mallets or hard sticks. Under various names, the drum has been used by composers since the mid-19th century. It is particularly noticeable in scores by 20th-century English composers such as Benjamin Britten and William Walton, and American composers such as Aaron Copland and Samuel Barber. Multi-tenor drums. Tenor drums are used as a marching percussion instrument, commonly as mounted sets of 4 to 6 drums, allowing one person to carry and play multiple drums simultaneously. Other names for these drums include names specific to configurations by number of drums: duos, trios, trips or triples, quads, quints and squints, hexes, six-packs, tenors or sextets. The number-specific term, quads, is often used as a generic term even for configurations with more than 4 drums. Typically there are 4 main drums, usually either 8, 10, 12, and 13 inches in diameter, at 10, 12, 13, and 14 inches in diameter, plus 1 or 2 accent drums. The accent drums are also known as shotcock, spock, or spike drums. They are usually tightened as high as they can go to achieve maximum effect. Other percussion instruments, such as cowbells or cymbals mounted to the rim, are sometimes also added. The purpose of the tenors in the marching band is to add more color to the music. In big lines, there can be as many as 6 tenor players. Many high school marching bands will have 1 to 3 tenors, while it is typical for world-class drum corps to contain as many as 5 or 6. They tend to supplement the snare part, and often the tenor parts are rudimentally identical to the snare parts. Movement around the drums allows tenors to function as melodic percussion, as each drum has a different pitch. A 4-drum configuration is typically arranged so that the lowest drum is to the player's far left, the second lowest is on the player's far right, the second highest is on the middle left, and the highest is on the middle right. This makes it easier to play common patterns, and is easier to balance than if the drums were in ascending size order. This arrangement is ideal for right-handed players and is almost always the arrangement in lines that consist of more than one tenor player. For uniformity, if there is a 5th drum, it is placed between the player and the highest 2 drums. If there are 6 drums, the 5th and 6th drum are centered closest to the player's body. Most of the time, tenor drums are tuned relatively tightly, giving them a high-pitched sound that carries well outdoors. Within the set of drums, the main drums are tuned to relative intervals, while the accent drums are generally tuned as high as possible without breaking the head. Tenor drums are played with mallets or drumsticks. A wide variety of implements are available, encompassing a full spectrum of shaft materials, head materials, and head shape, size. Tenor players use matched grip. This facilitates tenor techniques such as sweeps or scrapes and crossovers. These techniques allow an incredible variety of rhythmic and melodic figures possible on the tenors, as well as adding a distinct visual element to tenor playing. The drums are played near the edge of the head, like timpani. These areas are often called zones. This allows for the optimum resonance and fundamental tone of the drum to project. rim shots are not needed to be hit hard depending on the choice of sticks. Hard hits can warp aluminum sticks. The player's sticks can move across the main 4 drums in a pattern that forms a straight line from drum to drum, or the closest part of the drum to the player's body. This reduces the amount of space the player must travel to execute some of the more complex movement patterns. It also allows for less upper arm motion from side to side, which streamlines movement to play patterns, and also makes it easier to balance the weight of the drums while marching, or even running, with the drums on. Pipe band tenor drum. Originally a rope tension drum, giving way to modern rod tension, the tenor drum occupied a unique position in the drum corps of military and civilian pipe bands, being used as both timekeepers, accents to the musical ensemble, as well as spectacle. 3 types of tenor drum are played in modern pipe bands. Flourishing tenor. Flourishing tenor drummers use beaters on the end of long sticks, which are then tied to the fingers. The beaters are flourished in coordinated movements while striking the drum, to add spectacle. Modern pipe bands of average size usually field 2 to 6 flourishing tenor drummers. Alto tenor, played in tandem with the bass drum to add sound and keep time. Not all bands use alto tenor drums. Rhythm tenor, played to accent the snare drum part. It usually is played constantly. This type of drum is often used in pipe bands around the world, along with individual solo competitions. It is mainly used in the flourishing tenor style, as a part of the bass section.